The 1984 anti-Sikh riots, 30 years later, is it a permanent blot on the Congress party? That's my big question that I'm going to raise today, right at the top of the news today at 9. Joining me now are two of my guests are going to be joining me here in the studio. H.S. Fulka is the counsel for the victims of the 84 anti-Sikh riots, has fought a lone battle in many ways. Also joining me, Tajinder Pal Singh. He lost members of his family in what happened 30 years ago, and I've been speaking to him before, and I know he still feels that pain. Joining me, Jaivir Shergill, spokesperson of the Congress party. I appreciate all of you joining us here right at the top on this solemn day, because at the end of the day, Mr. Justice Fulka, it's almost become like a ritual. Every year we remember 1984 on October 31st, November 1st. But nothing seems to change. All I hear is the government gives compensation. One year it is 3.75 lakhs, next year it is 5 lakhs. But the killers, the perpetrators of that terrible crime of October 31st, 1984, many of them are still at large. How do you feel today? Do you feel a sense that you've almost lost the battle sometimes? Do you feel as if you've lost that battle to bring justice to the victims?
I have been hearing these kind of things from right from 1985 onward. When we were working for Mishra Commission, at that time also the people used to come and tell us that nothing is going to come us, nobody is going to be punished, why are you doing all this? But you see, it is absolutely necessary for us to show that in this largest democracy of the world, the rule of a political leader is not supreme. The law of the nation is supreme, and we are trying to prove it that the law should be upheld. And in the
30 years later, some will say justice delayed is justice denied.
That is true, but that don't mean that they should go scot-free. That don't mean that they again occupy the high position.
So you haven't given up hope?
No way.
You have not given up hope?
It is not in country's future to give up this fight, and we have to take it to a logical conclusion.
Tajinder Pal Singh, you lost your brother-in-law, you lost other members of the family or people you knew. Do you feel on a day like this, at the end of the day, as I asked Mr. Fulka, has it become a ritual? Government gives some compensation, television channels have programs, but closure in terms of justice is still denied to you?
Compensation is not required. We don't want compensation.
Don't want compensation. You don't need all these 5 lakhs that the government offers.
How does it matter? What is important is one simple fact. Let me take example of my mother-in-law. Jaspal Kaur was 50 years when she lost her husband and 2 sons. You have dragged litigation for 30 years. Now she's almost 85. It's a planned way. In 5 years' time, maybe 5 years more, if we are sitting in the same studio, 80% of the witnesses would have died by that time. So you are basically working on a plan so that the justice is not given to the people who have lost.
For you, it's not about compensation, it's about justice. Your mother-in-law wants to know who killed her son.
She knows about it. She
knows who the killer is.
She has been going
and
to
she
the
knows
courts.
that the killer has been let off.
Of course. The system has been crippled. I mean, for last 30 years, we have stuck to our basic dharma, that is called seva. Sikhs have done their bit, whether it's Jammu Kashmir floods, whether it's Hudhud, whether it's Saharanpur riots. That is our character. Now India has to show its character towards its own Indians. Are they ready to compensate not only by money but also by judicial system, by decision to punish the rioters?
I take your point, because what has happened, Jaivir Shergill, over the years, there have been several committees, there have been several commissions, 10 commissions and committees have been appointed since 1984. Rahul Gandhi, in an interview earlier this year, said some congressmen may be involved. The fact is, it was Rajiv Gandhi's government on October 31st, 1984. The fact is, more than 3,000 Sikhs died. The fact is, less than 30 people have been convicted. The fact is, not a single senior politician has been convicted. The fact is, many of these senior politicians actually went on to occupy high office even after their names came up in these cases. How would you respond today, Jaivir Shergill? Will you accept my question that this is a permanent scar on the Congress party?
Rajiv, being a being from Punjab myself and being a Sikh, I completely understand the pain and anguish, and trust me when I say that. It was a black day in the history of a nation, and nothing, and I repeat, nothing can undo what happened, and no amount of compensation can, heal the wounds. And if any justification is given to the sequence of events, it's an insult to the injury. Number two, as you said, there are three aspects to this entire matter. One is legal, one is emotional, one is rehabilitation. As for legal is concerned, you're right, and the other panel is completely right. There is a delay. The anguish for that delay is justified, but that delay has to be attributed to the process of law, the mechanism of evidence. As far as emotional aspect is concerned, the Congress party has expressed deep contrition. Rehabilitation, I know compensation.
No, hold on. You cannot blame 30 years on the legal process to suggest that it is the legal process which is responsible for it. If you had the political will, you could have easily ensured quick and swift justice. In fact, compared to 84, even 2002 Gujarat has a better record when it comes to prosecution. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's call today a spade, Mr. Shergill. And the fact is, this is a result of a lack of political will. I've got Sajjan Kumar's pictures playing on my screen. Here is someone who has been indicted by several commissions and yet has not been convicted. What does that show? Is it, and your government has ruled this country for much of the time between 1984 and today. So the general perception is that Sajjan Kumar got away because he was close to the Congress party. Yes, you want to say something, sir?
Rajdeep.
Okay.
Yes.
Javed
Yeah, I want to give.
I'll come to you. I'll come to Javed. Hold on.
Javed, this is for you. You said you are a Sikh. You know, as a Sikh, it is we who have been giving justice to the whole of the world. We are not dependent upon the justice given by a third party. What is important is, if you can hang within 3 years the killers of the Prime Minister of India, how can it take 27 more years for the same judicial system to decide about the 1984 anti-Sikh genocide? There can't be two CPC, there can't be two CRPC for two different cases.
So it's nothing to do with the legal. Is it the tardiness? Mr. Fulka, you want to respond to that? Is it the tardiness of the legal process as is being suggested by the Congress leader on the panel?
You see, it is mainly the fault of the government. The government, instead of bringing the guilty to the book, was shielding them. This is a charge sheet of 4 murders which took place on 1st of November. In 1992, the charge sheet was finally signed by the ACP and the IO and SHO. And this was in the normal course, should have been filed in 2 or 3 days in the court. Till today, it was not filed. Why? Because Sajjan Kumar is the main accused in this case. Now, Mr. Javed, you are a spokesperson of the Congress. Now, you stall the SIT, I will not go into this. 237 cases are closed by police which are not reopened. In Gujarat, also the police closed the cases. Supreme Court reopened those. You welcomed it. And after the reinvestigation, many accused were convicted. Now today, support the demand of the SIT and reopening of those 237
You want a reopening of those cases?
Reopening of
Are
those
you ready for those reopening of the cases? Because today I have former Delhi Police Commissioner Ved Marwa in the morning paper saying, I was almost done with my inquiry when I was about to approach senior police officers and then Lieutenant Governor, I was asked to stop the inquiry. Now the fact is that there has been a miscarriage of justice. Are you ready to reopen all the cases? Are you ready for a fresh SIT? Is the Congress party ready
now
for
today
it?
They are not to do it. It is the BJP government.
Yes,
India
Rajiv,
to do it, but they should support it. They should demand it.
So you're saying both the Congress and BJP?
Do it today.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I answer now?
Yes.
As a specific question regarding SIT is concerned, when Mr. Fulka made the demand, I categorically remembered. In our press conference we held, we are open and we are welcome if any SIT is created, and I stand by my words, even today. Today it is due for notification. It is up to the BJP government whenever the notification is issued. Number 2, Rajiv, you spoke about SIT. Let's not forget NHRC filed a petition in the Supreme Court. When Supreme Court smelled that the investigation is not going in a proper manner, SIT was ordered. Can we say today Congress has been a hurdle in any legal proceeding or justification? Any miscreant individual of a Congress party who was remotely connected with it has been politically deprived of any benefit whatsoever as far as our party is concerned. So where is the Congress stumble block in any legal proceeding?
The fact is that there were congressmen. I have Mr. Titler on my screen, and I think I should be fair to Mr. Titler and not show him again and again, because so far at least he hasn't been convicted. But the fact is there has been a question mark over Mr. Titler. There has been a question mark over Sajjan Kumar, and yet many of them were, even after that, given Congress party tickets. It required enormous amount of public pressure before they were denied tickets. Let's be clear. The Congress party did not conclusively distance itself from the killers of 1984. That is the truth. That is the reality. 3,000 people do not die unless the leadership, whether it's at the state level or the central level, in some level is either incompetent or complicit. That's the point. We are asking today for closure. The closure will come when the guilty are punished, Javid.
The point...
Javir ji,
the point is when Nanavati Commission in the sir, let me complete. I will take your question, sir.
Okay,
1 second.
Okay.
Sir, number one, Nanavati Commission in 2005, and please don't take it as a justification. When Mr. Titler's name was cropped up, he was sacked from the cabinet. When the tickets were denied, we didn't give them the tickets. Today, please look at the conduct. Have we not taken a step as to heal the wounds, reconciliation? We, unlike the BJP, did not go crowning the people who are involved in the riots. I admit that delay in the justice system, and there is anguish is justified, but that delay cannot be attributed to the Congress party.
Let me take that to Tajinder Pal Singh. You have a Prime Minister who was a Sikh. The Congress had a Prime Minister who was a Sikh for 10 years. In 2005, Dr. Manmohan Singh apologized for what happened in 1984. Is that enough? Is that enough for you?
See, we don't want compensations. We don't want apologies. We want action. If you can actually do something about it, just please do it. If you cannot, stop playing these dramas every year. You just can't provide justice. But we know how to get justice, because we have strong faith still in the judicial system.
You still have faith after 30 years?
The reason is...
30 years you still have faith, you still believe that this system will eventually result in the perpetrators of the killers being brought to book?
The reason is, if India has to stay as a nation, which it will, it has to provide justice to the victims. Otherwise, it's going to be a very tough game for the future generations, who will always going to ask these questions to all of us. Were Indians killed by Indians, not provided justice by Indians? What stopped Indians to provide justice to Indians?
What stopped
Indians to provide justice to Indians?
You know,
do we have a Pakistani judicial system to decide our case? Or we have Indian judicial system to decide our case? Then for those 10-20 years, the Congress was at the helm of affairs. Javir is saying they never crowned anybody. All of them were given ministerial berths, they were made MPs, they were made at the top positions, they were made governors. And you're talking compensation? Take all our compensation back. We want justice, simple.
You don't want compensation, you want justice, is the repeated cry that is coming here today 30 years later.
So do you think with this compensation we have survived as a community? No. It is our hard work. It is our...
Now just a minute.
It is our spirit to survive.
Yes,
survive
yes, Mr. Fulka.
You see, under the Indian law, wherever the
is the problem in collecting evidence? Is the problem in collecting evidence? The point which is made. Our system is such that in a mass crime, how do you collect enough evidence?
No, evidence is available, but intentionally the police aren't collected. But before that, let me comment. Under the Indian law, the compensation is also must. The punishment of the guilty also must, and they both operate in its own sphere. So they both are under the Indian law. It is not substitute for each other. Both need to be done. Now let me say, now Mr. Shergill has said that the Congress will support the demand of the SIT. Now I think let him go it. Let the Congress party make a statement. We will bring the other political parties, the CPM and the other parties to support this demand, and so that the SIT is formed. So let him make a statement that they will also raise it, say it in the parliament that SIT should be formed.
You know, I'm going to raise this with you, Jaivir. The fact is, the Congress, the Congress over the years has focused on 2002. The BJP focuses on 1984. Do you believe that the Congress party needs to do much more to really be able to, in some way, be able to atone for what happened in 1984. It's going to have to do much more. And the one thing that you can do is accept the role of your senior leadership at the time, particularly your Delhi-based leaders.
Okay, I want to make 2 points. Number one, as far as SIT is concerned, Mr. Fulka is very well aware that the proposition was moved to the LG. LG apparently ratified it, but notification has not been issued yet. We categorically said there have been 9 commissions, but if there is still a need of a SIT, we are open to it and we don't oppose it, and I stand by that statement even today.
Okay.
Number two, as far as any right is concerned, be it 84 or 2002, I told you there are 3 aspects. There is a rehabilitation, there is a which involves compensation, there is a you express remorse, you try to reconcile, you try to heal the wound, and third is the legal. We have done the best possible effort on all the fronts. And even today, if there are some suggestions to do something better, with humility and humbleness, we will go out and do it.
Sir, when more than 3,000 people die and less than 30 are convicted, I don't know how a political party which has ruled this country for much of the last 30 years can claim they've done enough.
Rajiv, Mr. Fulka is well aware, there is an element of prosecution, there is an element of evidence, there is an element of tempering of evidence and witnesses. Can any of this, a roadblock, a legal roadblock between the court, between prosecution, witnesses, can be attributed to the Congress? No.
I don't know what to say anymore sometimes. You know, it's all, the BJP will say the same about 2002 and you will say the same about 84 and we'll be caught in this zero-sum game. But I want to give you the final word, sir, because you have really suffered. We can talk, we can sort of empathize, but you have suffered. You've said today on the program, don't want compensation, you want justice. Do you have faith in our political system? Narendra Modi today said it's a dagger through the heart of the country. Do you believe Mr. Modi also must now walk the talk? He needs to. Just a minute, please.
I'm interjecting.
Yes.
I just want to make one comment. He
said
for Run for Unity. Next door, Tirlok Puri, did he even do a march of peace? Right under his nose, central government and home ministry, a riot opens up and he's busy doing Run of Unity.
Okay.
Has he done anything remotely in that area?
Okay, let me ask you.
If Modi has not done it, that doesn't mean you don't give justice to the Sikhs.
I'm not interested. Today is not about Narendra. This is not about, sir, today is not about Narendra Modi. Mr. Javid, sir, today, when Mr. Modi has to be questioned on how he handled riots, we will question him. Today is about the Congress's role, because the Prime Minister of the time was Rajiv Gandhi. The fact is, sir, I want to ask you, do you have faith in this political system? Do you really believe Narendra Modi can deliver what previous governments have not? Or is it simply loose talk also again by the Prime Minister of the country?
Before I actually comment on
the Congress party
whether the present Prime Minister can deliver justice or not, let me answer to Javir's one query. Javir has not suffered 17,000 days what I see my wife suffering every day. The trauma she faces every night. Her sons never had the privilege and advantage to going to a maternal home because they never had one. And daughter of an ex-army person, we have served this nation with pride. 17,000 plus days have passed. This is our last chance. The last chance for the Indian system, the judicial system, to provide us justice.
This is the last chance.
This is the last chance because Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Madison Square, New York, has clearly said that he is proud of the Sikh heritage. We are also proud of our nation. So please provide us justice.
Okay,
it's not a request. We are not requesting it anymore. 30 years, we have made the request. You decide. You have to actually deliver now. Enough of drama, enough of talking. Do it.
Okay, I think that message is loud and clear. Hopefully someone in 7 RCR is listening to it. Hopefully someone in 10 Janpath is listening to it. At the end of the day, all that is being asked for is justice. It's a very simple 7-letter word. Thank you very much for joining us here today. We will keep remembering every October 31st what happened on that horrific day, because we must not forget. My take, where do we stand? 1984 will remain a scar on the Congress party, indeed on the nation. Yes, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh did apologize in 2005, but true closure comes only with a sense of justice. And hundreds of riot victims remain convinced that the killers were let off. In that sense, 1984 is the ultimate indictment of a system that has failed to deal with the perpetrators of mass crime. Okay, let me then come to the story that's now developing this evening. Maharashtra witnessing history today with the swearing in of Devendra Fadnavis, the state's first BJP chief minister. That's right, mega ceremony held at South Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium where Fadnavis and 9 of his cabinet ministers sworn in. Apart from the Prime Minister, the BJP President Amit Shah, the entire top leadership of the party was present. Several chief ministers also of the NDA were present. But the occasion has also brought a thaw in the BJP Shiv Sena relations. After BJP President Amit Shah personally called Uddhav Thackeray to invite him, the Shiv Sena chief attending the ceremony at the Wankhede Stadium. Let me go straight across to Rahul Kawal, who has been at the Wankhede Stadium to find out more. Rahul, am I to understand that the ice is broken? Can we now expect the Shiv Sena possibly to join the government in Maharashtra in a few days' time?
Rajdeep, it's not that simple. We've been speaking to some very senior Shiv Sena leaders and they say that before the new Fadnavis government proves its majority in the House, the Shiv Sena would like to know from the BJP what exactly is on offer. We've been, this morning between 12 and 2, there were calls from Arun Jaitley, from Amit Shah, from Devendra Fadnavis inviting Uddhav Thackeray to the Wankhede Stadium. The Shiv Sena was in a quandary about whether they should or should not go. There was a heated discussion. Finally, a decision was taken that Uddhav Thackeray will go. Several other Shiv Sena leaders were there as well, but we spoke to the people who matter in the BJP. As of now, there has been no discussion of what really is on offer. Shiv Sena says in the proportion in which seats have come in this assembly, they want the cabinet berths to be allocated, which is 2:1, 2 for the BJP, 1 for the Shiv Sena. They're not insisting on home and finance any longer, but they hope that some important portfolios will be given to them. But what is important is that before the vote of confidence in the House, they want a final resolution one way or the other. They're saying don't expect that we'll support you on the floor of the House and then you'll tell us later that when there is an expansion in the future you'll give us a few berths. We want to know what is on offer before that. So while the ice, yes, has been broken, Amit Shah and Uddhav Thackeray surprisingly hadn't spoken since the 19th. Remember there was that big meeting in Delhi when Uddhav Thackeray called off Amit Shah. After that there was no discussion between the two presidents of the parties. Today that ice was broken, but that doesn't mean that there is a resolution inside. There's a strong force in the Shiv Sena which says let's be in the opposition, we're being humiliated, we're being made to grovel, that's not good for us. But Uddhav Thackeray realizes that the party will face a struggle if it's out of office for 5 years. They're hoping there will be a reconciliation. The first baby step was taken, but even if you look at the body language, the chemistry between the leaders, it was still rather cold. All the haranguing of the assembly elections and that entire period building up to the 15th of October isn't forgotten. There's a lot of bad blood at play. Can they put all of that on the side? Can they find a resolution? The Shiv Sena is saying, move fast, tell us what you have. The BJP seems to be taking its own sweet time. So far, they haven't made any concrete offer to the Shiv Sena, and the Shiv Sena is still waiting.
Okay, so from what you're saying at the moment is that the first step has been taken, but clearly it's not a done deal as yet. Appreciate your joining us, and you'll be back with more at 10 p.m. today. Let me turn to another of our special stories today. After Mahatma Gandhi for Clean India, Narendra Modi roped in Sardar Patel today for a united India push on his birth anniversary.